hate hip thrusts. This is why I do alternative exercises like these sumo deficits and a couple other things that I'll show you during this workout. If it works for you, that's great. I just notice for me, it hurts a lot more than it helps. And every time I do it, I just never feel my glutes. So works for you, great. If not, try these exercises and see where you feel it most. Hey everybody, welcome back to my garage. I'm gonna take you through a lower workout today where I'm doing a lot of more glute focused stuff. I'm gonna take you also through a warm up that gets me ready to do these sumo deficit deadlifts. I'm a conventional deadlifter, so for me to open up my hips, it takes a little bit more work. I have to get warmed up to do that. So I'm gonna show you what I do to get ready to get into those positions so that I can pull comfortably and hit where I wanna hit while I'm doing that. So let's get started. Sumos are a very hard position for me to get into because it's this position, really having to open up the hips. One of the first warm-ups that I like to do is called airplanes. You can hold on to something if you don't have great balance, and you're just gonna get in kind of this lunge position. Really focus on stacking the ribs, lifting the leg up, and then turning and holding it. One of the things you wanna avoid is getting into extension. So making sure that you're, tightening your core here and keeping that rib stacked. And only go what your mobility and flexibility will allow. You don't need to have the leg all the way up here. If that means that you can just pull it up just a little bit, an inch off the floor, it's still just going to help open up the hips. I do like one set of 8 to 10 just to kind of get everything moving. The second thing I like to do is glute ham pull throughs, banded. If you're in a commercial gym, you can always go off of the cable machines. Just need to do enough weight to kind of get everything warm. I love doing these even before conventional deadlifts to get a good stretch into the hamstrings and to the glutes. Because I want these sumo deficits to really hit my glutes, I want to kind of just get them a little bit warmed up and kind of feeling good before I add weight to it. Okay, and the last thing that I do is lateral lunges. My warm-ups prior to getting into like the main movement with the barbell literally takes me like 3 to 5 minutes, but if you do these, I guarantee you're gonna feel much better when you get into the lift. You're just gonna stand out wide and you're just gonna go down laterally. I do one leg at a time. Again, just 6 to 8 reps, kind of really getting the stretch in onto the hips. If you don't have the ankle mobility, you can always bring your heel up and off of the floor. Okay, deficit sumos. If you're at a commercial gym, you can stand on plates. If they have bumper plates, it's gonna give you a bigger deficit. If you don't have that option, you can always use smaller plates, which is gonna force you to get down a little bit lower versus using the big plates. But then you might be that annoying person that's taking up all the 10s at the gym. Set up for sumo deficits, you don't need to be extremely wide. You wanna go as wide as your mobility will allow. What I do wanna focus on is my glutes. So I wanna make sure that as I'm pulling, I'm staying as upright as possible, really getting down deep like this, forcing my knees out as I'm coming up, and really controlling the tempo so that I can feel it in my glutes. Because we can't all stand like this every day of the week to look like we have a butt. I don't take a super wide stance. Kind of still have my feet pointed a little bit out. Straps, doing this would be really useful as well. Get into the position, really get down low, force my knees out, try to stay upright, and then really just control the tempo as I go down. Okay, so I hate hip thrusts. If you're like me, barbell hurts when you're putting it on, and then you just really feel like you can't feel it in the glutes because you're so focused on balancing the bar, having it feel comfortable. This is why I do alternative exercises like these sumo deficits and a couple other things that I'll show you during this workout. I do have a booty sprout where you can do hip thrusts from. It is a lot more comfortable with the bands. It's really just not my preferred method. If it works for you, that's great. I just notice for me, it hurts a lot more than it helps. And every time I do it, I just never feel my glutes. So works for you, great. If not, try these exercises and see where you feel it most. Next exercise I have is reverse lunges. Do these off of elevation as high as you can go while maintaining form. The thing that I like to focus on when I'm doing these as I'm stepping back is really just using my back leg here as balance and not pushing off of it so you don't get the benefit of the exercise. So really focusing on just using that back leg to stabilize, but making sure that this front leg, almost like a pistol squat, is doing all of the work, focusing on like really feeling it in my glute. Another kind of trick that I use on my back leg is I don't step back onto my ball of my foot. I roll my back leg back onto my toe because it gives me less power. So less likely to use that to do the work. Next exercise I have is hip banded RDLs. I love doing these. I love having the band around the hips because it's a great tactile cue. If you're not very good at the hinge movement, it's gonna pull you back, really allow you to like feel what the hinge should feel like, and then provide resistance as you're coming up. That way you can really focus on pushing against that band at the top, hitting the donk, as we say we want to do. You can make this easier or harder depending on what band you use and how far forward you walk with it. As a finishing movement, banded glute kickback, I think they're really good. You might be like, oh, that's such a Fitspo exercise, but I really do think it's like a great finisher. If you're in your garage gym, I like to stand on something just to kind of give me extra space from the floor. I wrap the band just around my shoe like that. I try to keep my leg kind of close by, not far away, and I just push it straight back. If you're in a gym, you can do these with the cable, with like the ankle attachment. You can also, if you want, change the angle and go straight to the side this way. Just make sure the resistance matches the exercise. The green band for me is great going straight back. If I wanted to go out to the side, I'd probably have to use a lighter resistance band. Thank you guys so much for following along with my training today. I know today was more of a glute focus today, but you know that I love upper body. I love doing pull-ups, but I also love doing push-ups. So if you have any push-up questions or things that you want to learn, go ahead and put that in the comments below, because I have a push-up challenge coming and you're going to want to get in on that.